Hi, I'm MAB Guy. You might remember me from such stupid internet videos as riding this motorbike from Sydney to England, and being the first person on the planet to fit a V10 TDI into a short wheelbase Nissan Patrol, or any Nissan Patrol for that matter. It's true. So why am I here before you today? Well, I'm about to announce the new project for this channel. I bought a fucking tank, and I really hope you can appreciate how long my microphone cable actually is. Anyway.
Oh, I read somewhere on the internet that tanks don't look like that. It doesn't even have a cannon. It only has a small machine gun finger, so therefore it is not a tank.
Yeah, it's an armoured personnel carrier rather than a tank. But seeing as we're in this day and age, this APC now identifies as a tank, uses the pronouns tank and tank self, and you can't do anything about it. Because it's illegal in Australia. Anyway, you wouldn't have clicked on this video if I'd said I'd bought an APC. So here we are. Do not dead name it. Anyway, politics aside, how does this thing end up in my workshop? Picture the scene. It's late at night. You're on your computer, and you've just finished painting your belly like a Maori's chin. After you've put your sock in the washing basket, you resort to Facebook Marketplace to lowball some idiots. And it turns out, one of my lowballs was accepted, and here we are. So before we get into more details, let's have a look at it and see how bad this thing actually is, because it's quite bad. That was actually a lie. It's actually nowhere near as bad as I'm making it out to be. But it does have this to begin with. Fully functional machine gun turret. So we should probably take a good look at this. Now, for starters, I have no idea why it's painted up like 5RAR. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with them. It's probably just some cosplayer's attempt to fit in. We'll get some extra light on this somehow. But this thing is a weird little periscope, and this is an L4A1, and that means that it is basically a night vision scope for the machine gun, which still has its little firing mechanism there. This means I can go out past my bedtime and shoot bastards at night. And as you can see, the condition of it is a little bit fucking filthy, and it's definitely seen better days. Now, inside is where it gets a little bit worse. As you can see, it's been pretty much gutted by the previous owner. And I have no idea why. Luckily, I have all the parts to put this all back together. But for now, it looks a bit crap. But it's not all doom and gloom. It did come with every geriatric old man's toolbox. 2 of them. Including a bunch of other stuff that I almost definitely shouldn't have included in this. And there's a few other things that I found in hidden compartments that I'm definitely not going to put in YouTube videos. But welcome to the bullshit that I have ahead of me, because half of it is there. Another good amount of it is there. And then we're going to get onto the other bits that I don't even know if they're there or not. So I'm probably going to have to make a bunch of stuff. Again. Now, semi-lastly, I think it's a good idea to talk about this. This is a straight 8 Rolls-Royce motor, which is something like 5.7 litres, and a carburetor for some stupid reason. And it puts out a massive amount of power. 160 horsepower. Which is about the same as a Toyota Yaris. So maybe calling forward, something might happen in this department. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Camera going in weird directions. Sorry about that. So yes, we should probably figure out which direction this build project is going to go in. Now, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I've put a lot of effort into this channel, but I also have a motorbike channel that I never put any effort into. And my motorbike channel is getting dangerously close to trying to overtake my normal channel. And we can't allow that. But also, I'm stood over here now, and my YouTube channel makes just about enough money to cover these weird little projects now. But if it doesn't, this project isn't going to get done. And I would rather not sell this back to some kind of fanboy who dresses up as a soldier on the weekends, because I think that's pretty gay. Which means that the comments are going to determine what happens with this. And if my regular comments are anything to go by, this is going to be completely fucking stupid. This means engagement builds the project by giving me money indirectly. So by all means, comment what you want to get done to this. But you also have to share videos and press like buttons and do all kinds of engagement activities just so that I get to where I want to be, because I want to build a tank paid for by the internet. Don't we all? Anyway, shut up internet guy, get on with it. What are we doing first? Well, appropriately to the vehicle, I've decided to start a war. With arachnids. Let's get this thing outside. Yeah, that's not happening. It seems only appropriate to do this. So that's all the outside spiders taken care of. But unfortunately, they've retreated. They've taken cover inside the tank. And there's only one thing we can do about that. Fire in the hole.
A car explosion felt from several kilometres away has claimed the life.
So it's now the next day, and I think we won. You can tell it's the next day because I got rid of my atrocious beard, and now I look even more atrocious, and I changed my clothes for once. I've been in here cleaning out bug carcasses. There's these weird, whatever the hell that is, wasps? I don't know. There's heaps of those around. I've got everything out of there. Means I can stick my head up in the turret now without worrying about spiders crawling down my neck. And we can get a better look at all the goodies going on up here. Not really, I can, you can't. And I've got as far as hooking up a 12 volt battery to this. I know it's 24 volts, but 12 volts still gets you power to stuff. Thanks, Ambassador. And here's what we've got so far. Weird little breaker box. That makes a light come on there. Can't get anything to happen with this. This is supposedly the starter stuff. You pull stuff there, press there. No combination of that does anything, but I never assumed it would. The only thing I can get to work without a shadow of a doubt is this weird air conditioning. It's not air conditioning, it's just a fan, but you can turn that on and it blasts the souls of dead spiders in your face. That can go. Now I've probably got lead poisoning and asbestosis. Anyway, we have a steering wheel. We've got whatever that is. And whatever that is. I'm sure these are some kind of radio things or stuff with speakers attached. And then aside from that, turret stuff, gearbox, and then a bunch of mysteries in that corner where I found a bunch of things, which we're not going to talk about. Weird electrics, but everything is exposed, so it's going to be really easy to find out what goes on here, just because it's like 5 wires. Nothing like wiring. Come on, how are you supposed to get rifles through this hole to see stuff? Let's go out the turret. Nothing like the wiring in that thing. So, day 3 of this. And I've also only managed to edit like 9 or 10 minutes from the last bunch of video footage, so I've decided to dive a little bit deeper. And to do this, I'm going to have to remove all this stuff, probably get the engine out and see exactly what's going on. So I think the first thing will be take off all this stuff so I've got a straight shot down at the engine to see what the hell's going on. because in case you hadn't guessed, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. Now the worst part in all of this is having to crack out these obsolete tools of wanky sizes. We're not Americans here, and we're not 1960s British guys. And it's kind of lucky I've got any at all, because usually I just throw out the Imperial stuff, because nobody uses it apart from Land Rover owners. And I hope none of you ever have to experience the feeling of dipping your hands this far deep into the unknown, when you know what's been in there. I'm half expecting a bite. Now this makes life a million times easier. I mean, look at that. There's like access to everything. It only goes back about, I don't know, a foot to the firewall there. So I reckon this will be pretty straightforward to get out, assuming I can get the bell housing bolts out. Do you call it a bell housing on this? I don't know. It's got a weird wanky gearbox. But there you go. One thing I'm noticing though is there's a little bit of weirdness going on here. It almost looks like the motor is hard mounted to the chassis, which would make this a beautifully comfortable ride. And I'm only seeing front engine mounts, so I can only assume that this is going to be mirrored at the back of the engine, and then the flywheel is the only thing keeping it going. And the rest of it's hard mounted. How disgraceful is that? But that's not all of the questionable design choices on this vehicle. Aside from that nicely kinky exhaust, check out where this goes. This bolts to the side of an armour panel, and then you go on the inside, the manifold just literally bolts onto the side there. So I would imagine this panel gets pretty toasty when this thing's driving along for a while. I mean, I'm sure they were thinking some kind of, you know, structural thing rather than making a hole, but yeah, that's a bit odd. But anyway, what else have we got going on here? We have 2 mystery missing head bolts. We have no plugs in the engine, and we have a carburetor that's open to the elements, along with a bunch of disconnected bullshit that we don't know what's going on here. Same thing going on down this side, including a missing distributor thing open to the elements. So this is going to be a completely straightforward and very nicely running engine when I take it out. Right, so this is the part where it's gonna suck. I've spent quite a bit of time working on submarines in the past, and this is where it starts to feel a little bit familiar. So this is the back side of the bell housing, which means that basically you unbolt the bell housing, and there's those other 2 engine mounts I was theorising about earlier. Still hard mounted though for some reason. But anyway, there are 12 of these bell housing bolts holding the engine on, and then I can slide it forwards and get it out of the engine bay just like any other engine. But you've got to work around this massive kind of weird gearbox thing. Who knows what's going to be down there. But yeah, this is going to be vile. There is one thing I'll say though, I do like little cute things about old engineering. Look at this fuel level sensor, if it decides to focus. It is purely mechanical there. Just look at that, that's adorable. And one final bit of trivia for you. I did some research on these weird little wasp nest things, and they are absolutely terrifying. Have a look at this. These wasps, they grab spiders, paralyze them, and then hide them in cocoon things so their babies can eat them. And I've been, you know, crumbling these things up in my hands and just throwing them around. Disgusting. How is this for thrilling content? The only saving grace is that none of them are seized in, they're just in very awkward positions. So they're coming out quite nicely. Famous last words, because these are the easiest ones to access. This would have been so much easier if they had just used studs instead of through bolts. Which is probably a call forward of what's going to happen when this motor goes back in. But it just seems that all of these bolts are acting as the engine mount as well. I'm assuming every single bit of this driveline is hard mounted, which is absolutely mental. The good news of all of this is that if you've worked on ships before, as I'm sure some of you have, just imagine this moment. And the good thing is that I can just reach down there and grab it because the armour's only like a foot away. But there have been times when I've had to run down 5 decks to get to the bottom to dig through a bilge full of absolute garbage to try and get my tools back. Anyway, this is disgraceful. I don't want to film it. You don't want to watch it. So let's skip to the end. Well, that is 8 of the 12 bell housing bolts out. There are 4 left. And I saw a horrible little access panel that looks like it goes down to the floor. I noticed this when I was cleaning out the vehicle. I was hoping for the best that I didn't have to use it, and it was there for cosmetic purposes. But they're not there for cosmetic purposes. This means I'm sliding around on the floor, going under there. This is apprentice level shit. And I'm pretty sure my hoist can't take like 10 or 11 tons, so here we are. Now, as with everything on this channel, slightly sketchy things that support heavy things, but it seems stable enough. And this is the engine stand that I built for the V10 TDI over there. So, for all of you playing at home, you can probably fit a 5.7 Rolls-Royce engine into a Nissan Patrol, and I strongly encourage you to try it, because I'm not going to. Anyway, let's give you a slightly guided tour of this garbage. First thing, there have been no spark plugs in this engine, which is pretty unfortunate. There's nothing in the bit where the distributor sits, so safe to say that all of this is probably just going to be pretty much buggered. You can't spin the crank by hand, so I assume there's going to be all sorts of horrors going on in here. But in the next episode, I'm going to be stripping this motor to see exactly what's up and to see if it's salvageable in any way at all. As you can see, I can basically put body weight on that and she ain't going nowhere. But as I've said already, this is a YouTube decided build. So do we fix this engine? Do we swap it for something else? Or do we go full gay and put an electric motor in this? Comments decide, I guess, and if it gets enough popularity, then ad revenue pays for it all. So I guess that's enough content for episode 1. You know what to do.